it's cybersecurity. I'm super excited to finally bring to you this recap video of SharkFest 2023. Also, I've created this video totally using Shotcut. Shotcut is a free tool for video editing, and I will be dropping a detailed tutorial very soon. Lastly, make sure that you tune in for my video on voice generation through AI. Half of my voiceover was created through an AI voice generating tool, and the other half I recorded directly to my iPhone using the voice memo application. Get down.
This is SharkFest. SharkFest 2023 was special to me. I received a Women in Technology scholarship to attend, and that year it was held at the University of San Diego. The campus is absolutely gorgeous with its hills, valleys, and flowers myriad, and so is the beach nearby.
California.
You really get to network with people up close and personal.
Marina and Mania and Karina. And I'm Jasmine, the only one with an A, not at the end of her name.
SharkFest really does a great job choosing the most historic locations to meet twice each year, once in the States and once abroad.
Mania.
This is great. And the weather's cooperating. It was raining on us all weekend, so. Also, I shouldn't have said that. And a fun game about to begin. I'll hand it over to our. Just need to get a little more liquored up.
That year was Wireshark's 25th birthday, and I could not wait to meet its creator, Gerald Combs.
And I would trade consulting gigs to host, to put this in a rack somewhere. And that worked great for a while, right up until the time that it stopped working. Because I would get a call from, I'd put it in a rack somewhere, I'd get a call a couple of months later from the friend that was helping me out. And he'd say, we're being acquired and we're taking inventory right now. And your machine cannot show up on our inventory. So you gotta come by and pick it up now. And so I would do that. And there would be other situations where I'd have to go grab the box. I transported this under the cover of darkness more than once.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of Wireshark core developers.
Hello everyone, my name is Gerald. I'm one of the co-developers. I'm from Austria. Been with the project since, I've been developing for Wireshark since 2014, been a co-developer since 2016. Main focus is UI these days, and yeah.
I'll post the other introductions at the end of this video, but they actually came to our class to speak.
On Tuesday, you're gonna get at least a small introduction on how to use GPT and derivatives of that in Wireshark. There will also be a company present who is a sponsor of the SharkFest called Be Real. They do something similar and do artificial intelligence network analysis. There's a myriad of reasons why in the current state of AI, this doesn't make much sense.
Right.
Because it would gather or gain more faulty results for a user than it would be positive.
And then I got over my imposter syndrome, lost control of my device, and decided to ask my question.
Web-based system that uses T-Shark as its dissection engine.
Hi, I really hope this isn't a stupid question, but I'm really into brain-computer interfaces. I don't do much reading unless it's like a YouTube video, but I was wondering, when you think about updating those devices, I would assume in the future you're gonna have to connect to a network or something. So is Wireshark or similar tools potentially gonna be used to troubleshoot why people's brains are not working or something, or can you connect to a Neuralink?
Yeah. Here's the secret about Wireshark. Can you bring it up?
Yep.
all these things that you see in this list up here, Wireshark doesn't care if there are a number of packets. Wireshark, it just looks at blobs of bytes and dissects them for you. And it could be any blob of byte. It could be an MP3 file. It could be a PNG or a JPEG image. It could be any sort of data you want to look at.
Could you just 1 second?
And so, if you're talking about analyzing, a specific kind of data like human computer, brain interfaces or something like that, Wireshark is, as long as you write a dissector for that, Wireshark will be able to show you that.
Wow.
One of the things I'm working on at work is adapting Wireshark for looking at log messages instead of packets, because you can take log messages and shove them into a PCAPNG file just the same as you can packets and look at them that way. So hopefully we'll have.
The thing I just did was exactly that. We are looking at the same file, but now you're looking at the file format. You're no longer looking at the capture itself. Wireshark is a built-in dissector for quite a few file formats where you can look at. You can look at a JPEG file, for instance, and load it, and it will be set accordingly.
If you're on Linux, Wireshark can dissect Wireshark because you can open up all files.
So Wireshark will just tell you what bytes mean. But you also need a way to get those bytes, and that's most of the time I think the difficult part. If you're asking about how can I understand what the brain is doing, well, you need to, I guess, way to definitely your brain somehow, but that's really painful. So.
It's not as stupid a question as you might seem. It's just way off in the future. We're not there yet. But Wireshark, I tend to see Wireshark as just some form of live logic analyzer, and whatever is displayed by coincidence is network traffic. But we have traces for USB. You can pretty much analyze USB keyword stuff like USB handshakes. We have Bluetooth quite extensively. Quite a lot of companies use it to develop and program Bluetooth devices. You can also, there is a functionality in Wireshark that's called the XCAP. Whenever you start Wireshark, you see all the interfaces at the beginning, and some have little icons in front of them. Those are XCAP interfaces. In theory, those are only Python scripts or some C program that generates a PCAP file that Wireshark then displays. How this PCAP file comes to be is no business of Wireshark. It doesn't really matter. So we have the XCAP files for instance, we have one that dumps CAN bus. CAN bus is the one bus communicating in a car. You can display CAN bus messages live in Wireshark if you want. So the question is very valid because Wireshark is just, we display packet data. If any data you can compress into packets being transmitted in one way or the other, Wireshark can display it, in theory. You have to have some code getting you the data, but that's about it.
I was curious, are any of the filters that are available heavier weight than others? Are they all equal weight?
Then there is the developer's den. You could literally just walk in. Here's Peter and Sake attempting to fix my spicy pillow.
Oh, it's working right now, right? So
I don't know. The thing is, it's not usual to work with batteries. Usually batteries are needed or required to operate. But you can try it.
yeah.
Even the sponsors were approachable and well informed.
What is that on the Discord channel?
Profit tap in the building.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So it's got auto application identification for about 2,000 applications. Thank you. So we use DPI to identify the applications, and then I can drill down.
Not to mention the highly technical courses. There were many lectures, but I generally chose the most hands-on, which were held in the same room.
Gateway, and this means when I make a call, I have to go on the A here. This is a new call.
Okay, I have launched this. I have a whole bunch of websites, Security Institute and all sorts of things. I'm a board member of ISSA. I do all sorts of presentations at all sorts of places. And I'm taking all my content so that I can help you use it and collaborate around that content, okay?
The real excitement that year was the keynote speaker, writer of the Spanning Tree Protocol, known as the mother of the internet.
So this is an idea. Radia, would you write, in the game of packets, you either route or get redirected? Just ideas for you to think about, to talk with Radia about, and have her sign your book.
Luckily, I didn't hear most of the introduction, so I don't have to be embarrassed. First, the route must be selected. By ID, it is elected. Least cost paths from route are traced. In the tree, these paths are placed. A mesh is made by folks like me, then bridges find a spanning tree. And I asked ChatGPT to write a 6-stanza poem about it, and it did a really good job. I was sort of, it was nothing like this, but it was also would have been perfect, but anyway.
Then there was the ever-eventful Radia Perlman book signing.
Talk to the women and say, this is a book about amazing women like Radia Perlman, and you can be like her too. Ticket because she won last night in the drawings twice.
Oh. I'm lucky, yeah.
She's very lucky.
This is a video, I'm sorry, I just wanted to
shamelessly plug my Instagram brand.
John, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, in my talk on names, I rant about John. It's, you know, like, it's, at a company, when you're trying to find somebody's email address, there's a million John Smiths, and you don't know which one it's supposed to be. Yeah, I sort of wonder when people are pregnant, they have 9 months to think of a name, and they say, oh, we're gonna call him John. It's like, couldn't you be more creative? But yeah.
The Radia stories and jokes were endless and enjoyable, and so I'll add them to the end of this video, but more importantly, she gave me words of wisdom that you must hear right now.
I found an ecological niche in the industry where I'm really valuable because I am kind of different from the others. So you don't want everybody to be the dive in and just write code before you even, you know, whatever. And you don't want anyone like me who, you know, panics at the idea of having to reboot the router. So, you know, an ideal team is somebody that brings different things. So if you're different somehow, you know, if you can actually talk to humans, or if you can make something beautiful, you know, that these are skills that are really important. But at any rate, all of these stereotypes, you know, that women are humble and shy and insecure and men are aggressive beasts, you know, that's not true. You know, I have been at companies where there are women who are every bit the self-promoting, you know, bullies that any man is, and they do very well for themselves in terms of getting high titles. They never accomplish anything good technically. You know, no one like that, and no one who's smart has to act that way, but there's lots of people that do, and people perceive them as geniuses. And yeah, they're just so toxic. I wish that management would sort of recognize this sort of behavior and not reward it. But yeah, the thing is that there will be, yeah, people say, how do I cope when there's, you know, bad things that happen? And so, for instance, Trill was a wonderful thing that I had designed a while ago, and it just got killed politically, you know, because of egos and whatever. So I would like to say, oh, well, it's just really easy. I dust myself off and I, you know, whatever, or I go in and fight. But to be brutally honest, I cry a lot and I don't sleep and it bothers me a lot. So it happens with everybody. So as long as you realize it happens with everybody, one piece of advice is like, how do you feel if somebody asks you for help? Do you think, they're wasting my time, or boy, they must be stupid? No, you're incredibly flattered that they ask for your help and you love the opportunity to help. So keep that in mind, and don't be afraid to ask people for help. Why waste your time hitting yourself hitting your head against the wall when you could just ask somebody and get the answer, and they will appreciate it. So just everyone is insecure. There's imposter syndrome, which I'm an imposter here. There's no reason why I should be at Wireshark, given that I've never diagnosed anything. But as long as you realize everybody feels that way, try to make the other people around you sort of feel more comfortable.
Radia was a radiant ray of sunshine. She inspired me.
I was also inspired by my fellow conference goers through their amazing non-technical talks called Shark Bites.
So here I am. I'm excited to talk about piñatas. So when I was in my early 20s, I spent some time in El Salvador. And when I was there, I fell in love with the country, fell in love with the people. I think it was cool as a piñatas that I had seen online, but it worked. And it was fun, and it took some serious work to crack that thing open because I did a lot of layers.
They're just absolutely beautiful, and some are just like plain vanilla boring. So one of the really cool things in business that I've had the fortune and capability is doing a lot of traveling around the world. I try to
extra special. If you notice this water, it looks pretty green, and that's not a camera artifact or any kind of filter. There was an algae bloom that happened then.
Topic of my discussion to explain to every one of you here how the institutions that we pass through can affect the character.
So you go to the school site and you open up a web browser and you go to, let's say, Google. The first Google page would load. You hit refresh, the second Google page would not load. And the third time, maybe not.
And lots of them are authors. There are many people running their own newspapers. There is a very successful businesswoman in, I think it's Minnesota, I have to look it up, who runs her own business and employs about 50 people doing
anything like that. But as far as outside of my work in my cybersecurity studies, music would be my passion.
So that was my time in San Diego for SharkFest 2023 as a Woman in Technology Scholarship recipient. It was exactly what a conference should be. Highly technical, extremely social, interactive with its packet capture escape rooms and sponsored treasure hunts. I had only one thought. How to cure post-conference depression. Yes, it is a thing. Be sure to attend SharkFest at your own expense or as a scholarship recipient if you're a woman in technology. It is well worth it. Special thanks to Ross B. I did not have enough footage of you, but you taught me so much at the Wireshark SharkFest conference. Also, Betty DuBois, you are super sweet, super amazing, and if it wasn't for your contribution and your creation of the Wireshark Women in Technology Scholarship, I never would have been able to enjoy this experience. Last but not least, Janice. You are one of the greatest directors of any conference that I've ever met, and if it wasn't for you, I would not have had the opportunity to meet Radia Perlman. You gave me an original copy of her book so that I was able to go to the book signing. I'll never forget that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Share this video to another Wireshark geek.
I started contributing to Wireshark in 2008, I think, and joined as a co-developer in 2012. I'm mostly on the telecom business.
I'm Perlman. I joined the project in 2003, I think. Maybe 2005 I became a core developer, but I don't quite remember anymore. Also in the telecom industry, working mainly with protocols associated with that. And also looking at merger requests and
Hi, I'm Simon Look. I'm from the Netherlands also here. I started using Ethereum back in, I think, around 2000.
and I was missing features, so first I want to ask for something, it's open source, let's see if I can develop it myself, which I did, and that was, I think, about 2006, and in 2007 I was asked to join the core team, and that kind of steered up my career as well, becoming independent troubleshooter and giving trainings and stuff. So
I'm Martin Matheson. I've been core developer since 2006, I think. And mostly work on telecoms protocols. Most of the sectors I've been concentrating on. In fact, I'm going to talk tomorrow about, well, I would let you know a bit more about how the sectors work and how we can help you make them better. If you want to write something.
I'm Peter, also from the Netherlands. Typically I work on TLS, HP, QUIC, all kinds of protocols that they run into and that bothers me, and if I fix it, I can also help others at it, so that's nice.
John Thacker, I've been using Wireshark for a long time. I made some small contributions about 10 years ago, but started doing a lot more in the last couple of years. Been a core developer the past year and a half. And I'm pretty much interested in almost anything in Wireshark that catches my attention. So.
My name is Chuck Kraft. Spending my retirement answering questions on the Q&A website. Core developer since Kansas City last year, and you asked about mistakes. The biggest mistake I could make would be not to thank my wife right now, so thank you to my wife Ann for indulging me and letting me do this at my retirement.
So did anyone have any questions, or?
Is Ann here?
Question? Just curious, such a small group, and Wireshark is so incredibly popular, 1 million downloads a week, everybody uses it. I'm just curious if you know the percentage through how much code you guys write versus how big is the development community out there that's also contributing to Wireshark?
I have stats on the next slide. But I think we've gotten contributions from over 2,000 people. I can't remember the number.
So the virtual team is very large.
Yes.
So there's some core developers who aren't here.
Yeah. This is not the entire core developer team.
But to be fair, we don't really know the number of co-developers by hand who are active because people drop off, jobs change, the life changes, and so some people stop contributing for whatever reason. I think at any given time about 14, 15 people in the co-developer team. And there are a lot of people who are de facto on the same status, but not contributing code per se. For instance, people like Jasper, who does quite a lot for Wireshark and Wireshark community, but he not yet has some similar status, but he's definitely considered by us as a co-developer. I mean, he gets all the same spam mail we get.
A lot of protocols, a lot of the sectors are written by the person who was first working on a protocol, and the person who had the need and the knowledge and expertise, they would write that protocol. They might not work on another one again, but it's great that happens.
Yeah, I saw a hand up here and one back there.
And then I saw this group of men, and I thought I heard some of the magic words, like bridge or router, but I wasn't sure because I wasn't close enough. And somebody had a book on their lap with papers on top, so I could only see the edge, and it was the right color. So in this empty airport, I maneuvered myself to sit right next to them, at which point they stopped talking and they were kind of staring at me, and I realized, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. I guess I'm acting bizarre. And so I said, oh, I'm sorry, I was just curious, what is that book? So he pulls it out and it's Interconnections. And I said, oh, I'm Radia Perlman. And so they all turned white. And when one of them sort of recovered well enough to be able to say something, he said, we are in a panic trying to prepare a customer presentation. And right before you showed up, one of us said, if only the author of that book were here. And I said, oh, it's not a problem. You just wish for me and I appear. It comes with the book. So I sort of wonder how many times they tried that in the future. But I never had more fun at the airport. I helped them prepare the presentation, signed their book. It was great. Together in Vegas. And then somebody else at some future one said, hey, you signed it for my colleague. I want something even more outrageous. And it's like, oh, and when it first came out, I was at an interop, and so lots of people bought it and stuff. And so on the airplane, on the way home, I saw somebody reading it. And as I was walking down the aisle to get to my seat, I said, hey, that's my book. And he said, no, it isn't. I have the receipt right here. And he was mad enough. There wasn't time to explain.
It's hilarious.
So at any rate, but I have 2 grown kids, and both of them got married. That's fine. Everyone makes their own decisions. But somebody, people interview me and write things, and they never show it to me, and I never like to read it after the fact anyway. It just embarrasses me. But at any rate, someone thought it'd be cute to call me the mother of the internet. Now, nobody invented the whole internet. There's all these pieces and stuff. So I would have said, yeah, don't do that. But at any rate, so my daughter was at college, and she had friends who knew of me, knew she was my daughter, and showed her the article. So I didn't know anything about the article. She calls me up and she said, Mommy, do you have another bastard child you never told me about?
Get down.